Hey guys, welcome back to the fifth podcast episode of the KenshinCast. Today is a very special episode. We are actually here with Evan Godzilla, who is one of our backers of the 2022 project for Kenshin Chaos and all that stuff. So we decided to do something extra special for our Kickstarter backers. If they replied to the emails that we sent out and all that stuff, Evan has done everything he's needed to do to get into this spot where he is right now. So we're very excited to actually have a fan on the show. It's just cool. And once again, Evan, we're super thankful to have you on the show, super thankful for your support and everything you do for the studio, especially when it came to the Kickstarter. But because of you, as today, as we're recording this, it is actually a few days until episode 5 of Kenshin Chaos comes out. So because of people like you, we're actually able to show that kind of stuff finally. So but Evan Godzilla, just kind of, do you want us to call you Evan or Evan Godzilla? How do you want to be called?
No, you can do Evan. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So just introduce yourself. Like, what do you do? Or do you do stuff on YouTube? Do you like whatever kind of creative stuff you do, or just go for it?
Yeah. So my YouTube is Evan Godzilla. Even on there I just go by Evan. But yeah, I have I'm trying to branch out into doing more like video essay type things, but super short, so like 10 minutes. So yeah, I mean that's where I do all my stuff.
Nice, awesome. And I guess just while we have you here, just for interest wise, first off, like, what got you interested in Kenshin Chaos or Kenshin Studios? I just gotta know, like, what was your first entry into this, studio that we made? So
This is back from Goji fan days. Actually, that's the reason I was here originally.
yeah.
So back then, I mean, you were making games. I was playing them. I was uploading videos on them, and then I
Oh,
restarted my
that's
channel.
right. I remember that.
I restarted it, but I didn't restart it. I just made them all private, and then I restarted this February. But yeah, so I was already following all the right channels since you guys came back.
Perfect, awesome. And clearly, I assume you've been enjoying Kenshin Chaos so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil nothing, but the new episode is the best one for me.
Because
for
you got
sure.
the sneak peek too as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Cool. So for today's episode, since we have a special guest on here, we've let Evan decide what kind of topic that we are going to go over today. So Evan, how about you tell us what today we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about what's the best entry point for a fan to Godzilla based on the era. So Showa, Heisei, Millennium, or Reiwa.
Perfect. And do we classify, because I get kind of confused with this, do we classify Reiwa with the legendary movies, or is that its own thing too?
I guess we could group it. That's actually kind of yeah. It's
I would
weird.
I would assume to group it because it is part
Yeah.
of like the newer modern Godzilla movies. Even if it's
Yeah.
American, I think it still counts. So yeah, just to make it easy. All right, so we got those 4 eras. So I guess we'll start with saying, so if you had a friend or a person who had no idea what Godzilla was, and they came up, or you came up to them or whatever, and you said, hey, I think I want you to watch this thing called Godzilla, and based on like their taste or something like that, you'd say, like, okay, I think we should start with this. So I guess we'll go around the table here. So Evan, we'll start with you. What are your opinions on this?
I think it's kind of funny because I'm actually doing the same exact thing for Ultraman right now,
Oh,
and I'm trying to be as fair as possible. So what I'm doing, it's kind of like categories. Like for me, the easy one is Reiwa, only because it's Hollywood. You can get into it easy. You have the really good looking graphics and all that. So on an easy point, sure, but there are so many people that like fun things, and I'm gonna be like, you have to look at the show. You have to. There's no way you can not. And then the Heisei, sure, it's B Morse, but I just love the suit designs and everything. You got Mechagodzilla too. I know Nico loves that, but
yep.
I love Mechagodzilla 2 as well. I think that's one of the best. Kiryu looks the coolest,
Yeah.
but Mechagodzilla 2 is probably the best one. So, but yeah, I mean, based on categories for sure, I think it's really hard. But Reiwa just for just the way it looks.
Yeah. Nico, what do you think?
So you actually put me on the spot here. I'm very conflicted between which era someone to really start to watch Godzilla with. You have the Heisei movies and the Reiwa movies where they're very serious. Like they everything they put into it is very focused. It's very serious. It's meant to be taken in a serious manner. but as for a common moviegoer, you're going to see that and be like, oh, that why? Why would they do that? No.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have to go back to the roots. I'm going to say the Showa era. You
Wow.
have to get a really big grasp of where Godzilla is coming from, what he is, and once you have that finer understanding of like, okay, this is what they're really trying to do, and then you hit the stuff where it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, oh, the drop kick. Yeah, I remember that. I see that. I see that gif everywhere. Yeah, I remember that. So you have to wrap your mind. You have to introduce someone like wrap your mind around what Godzilla really is about, and then once you have firm understanding, it's like okay, it started off as like a very good, introductory movie, and then it slowly got into like, oh, they're making them every single year. It is like B movie material, but they were super big in the '70s and super big in the '80s and such, and so on and so forth. So then that's when you could go into the Heisei era, where it's like, okay, now I know what I'm getting into. I know what to expect in certain in terms of movie magic. That I can't think of special effects. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
That's what
special effects.
Special effects. Yeah. So where you're understanding the special effects and what the traditional way of making a tokusatsu film is. You go to Millennium series, even know what more to expect, even more like a wilder scale, like a more inconsistent scale where it's like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So you have the body slam on the top turnbuckle, and then out of nowhere you have GMK, which is like two completely different movies. And then now you have Reiwa, where you have all these younger Godzilla fans growing up and they're seeing Godzilla, and they're going to know it as the CGI, So it's essentially like understanding the roots, some suffering, then you get some serious tones and such, and you see everything progress more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me. I think the proper standing is to stay in the Shogun era.
It's a very like traditional sound. Like you start from the beginning and then go as the movie's released, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I think my gut wants to tell me it's like, oh, do Heisei first because that's just my favorite. But I don't think Heisei would be the best because of, especially depending on the versions you have them watch as well. Like, you also have to go into it thinking like, okay, well, are they going to watch the Japanese subtitled or are they going to watch the, English audio? And when it comes to Heisei, I would never, ever have anyone suffer through the English audio. That's just horrible, the dubbing in that one. So that would, I feel like that would turn someone off from Godzilla completely, and it wouldn't help the stereotype, from the, I don't think it's as much of a stereotype anymore as it used to be, but like, the dubbing and how it didn't match the mouths and all that stuff. Like it used to be like a laughingstock back in the day. I don't think it's as much mocked anymore as it used to be, but I would have to go between either. I do feel that the first thing you should show someone, it has to be Gojira. Like it has to be the first black and white film because even though that film, like when it comes to special effects, obviously has dated, but I still feel like in terms of storytelling, pacing wise, characters, and like theming, metaphors, and all that stuff, I think it's just so solid that I think that even if you have someone who wouldn't really want to see something cheesy or campy, that they would look at that film and be like, okay, that actually was really good. Like I got something out of that. But as far as the rest of the Showa series, I don't know if I'd want to show them the rest of that, because it is just, you go from Gojira then to Raids again, and it's just a super downgrade, from everything that you just watched. So I would probably say at least the first Gojira movie, and then I probably, similar to what you said, Evan, is like kind of skip a bunch, go to Reiwa, and just have them see like the Hollywood version of what they just watched. If that makes sense. Yeah. And then probably then I think after they see like the Hollywood Godzillas, then you kind of tell them like, okay, now what do you really, Godzilla's done like all these kinds of different genres and tackled all these different themes. So like, what are you thinking of now? Like, do you want something that's more grounded and serious with like story beats that are like threaded throughout a bunch of movies? Or do you want like an anthology kind of series like the Millennium series is? Or do you want some funny campiness with the Showa? I think like that's, probably after you get to that point, you start to ask them like, okay, now here's what you can kind of pick and choose, because there's just so many different kinds. So that's kind of my idea with that. So I think like if it came to each era, what do we think because I just said like Gojira, I think should be the first starting one with Showa, obviously. But like when it comes to the other eras, what do you think would be the movie to start with in those ones? So Evan, what do you think with that?
Um, so if they already watched Gojira, I mean, you have to go Return if that's your like criteria,
That's what I
because
was
everything
thinking.
else in the Heisei is going to be, well, I mean, to put it bluntly, it is going to be Beam Wars. Even though I love it, it is going to be Beam Wars. So if they're not interested in that kind of fighting, you have to go 84
Mm-hmm.
for that. Millennium, GMK, I think
Oh
easily.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I mean,
agree
it's
with
not only
that.
one of the best Godzilla films, it holds up really well.
It
And
does.
then
Yeah.
Reiwa, I would not say Shin. Shin is a great film, but I think it's too heavily influenced on the Japanese side for all the audiences to really connect with in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this one's hard because I know 2014 is kind of a hot topic for a lot of people because some
Yeah.
people hate it, some people love it. And then you go King of the Monsters is my favorite one, but people are like, yo, that story's awful. So I think Reiwa is kind of hard to I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Singular Point, but that's kind of sciencey. So I don't
I
know.
see that would be my thing. Like if I was first introduced, if I didn't knew nothing about Godzilla and someone showed me Singular Point, I'd be so
Yeah,
lost. I'd be like, I don't know
I know.
what that movie or that series was way too big brain for me. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on.
Okay, not to go off topic. Did you watch that in sub or dub?
Me or
Both.
Evan?
No, yeah.
Oh, would you watch
I
it in
think I
Evan?
did both.
I did English dub.
So I'd watch it in English dub first, and I'm just like, and I was boggled. Like I had no idea what the hell was going on
Yeah,
because
it was super.
the exchanges go by so
Yeah.
extremely fast.
Yeah,
When I put it in sub, I will say I understood it a little more, and I enjoyed it a little more because I knew a little more what was going on because I was reading
yeah,
it.
you had to
So I'd be
read
like,
it.
oh, how's it going? Oh, it's going really good. How about you? Oh, I'm doing really good. Hey, did you hear about but you get the point. Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on, man.
I don't know. It's freaking me out, dude.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I guess we also forgot about the anime trilogy. I mean, I know a lot of people don't really care
Forget.
for
I
it.
choose to forget.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, someone who doesn't have preconceived notions of Godzilla
Yeah.
and what it should be,
Yeah.
maybe they would look at that movie series and be like, that was actually pretty good because they
I could
don't
see that.
know
Yeah.
they don't know what else Godzilla can be. So like that that might be something. But like especially if you think about like Mechagodzilla, it's like if they don't know who that character is and then they watch City on the Edge of Battle, they're like, oh, that's cool. It's like a city that's like a fortress kind of deal, and for some reason it's called Mechagodzilla. I don't know, but like, did they ever?
Yeah.
I don't even think they actually did. They actually even in the film call it Mechagodzilla City, or was that just the name of it in like the lore, or did they actually say it in it? I don't remember if they did.
I think they said it. I know they don't show the real design really. It's
Yeah, no,
mostly
they
on the
don't.
toy, but
Yeah. Huh, that's an interesting question. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for like I said, I would say Gojira would be the first one in Showa. Heisei, I agree, it has to be Return of Godzilla, not because of my own biases, but just because it's like literally it is the sequel to it.
yeah.
Makes sense. And then if you wanted to continue the Heisei, it would help establish some context, I guess. I mean, really only with Biolante. I mean, as soon as you get into King Ghidorah, things get really weird. But and then Millennium, I think Millennium is just kind of an a la carte free for all. It's just like really, it doesn't matter. I guess unless with Kiryu, you got to watch the first one. But still, it's like I agree though. I think GMK would be the best. I mean, I remember having my fiance watch GMK one year. I think it was last G Fest that we were able to go to. It was
remember that.
2019. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay,
right.
yeah.
We went and see GMK and she was there, and so I was like, okay, it's one of the Japanese Godzilla films, so hey, just bear with it, whatever. I mean, she still was like in the theater. I remember just looking. She was like, sleeping and stuff. And I'm like, this is GMK. You can't sleep. So, but she was able to get through it at least. But I agree with that. But I also think maybe Godzilla 2000 has some merit to starting out as well. In terms of Reiwa, I think I want to say Shin Godzilla just because it's just as deep and thought provoking as Gojira is. But you're right, Evan. Like it is, if you're not in the right mindset of like who the film was made for, then you are going to feel a little alienated from it, because it's not for American audiences. I mean, it really isn't. Like, it's not written for them. We're not supposed to like fully understand it. But I feel like if you get your mindset in there, because like I remember when I went to go see it, I tried as best I could to put myself in their shoes, and I was like, okay, I like, this is pretty cool, you know. That's why I have appreciation for it. But yeah, I would say I would start with, oh man, I don't know, 2014. You could start with that one because it is very subtle and grounded. I mean, I would say it's the most realistic Godzilla. Would you guys agree? Out of every film that we've had in this whole franchise, 2014 has been the most grounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah. Um, so I can't really think of anything else in terms of like the topic here, but I guess we can kind of.
Well,
Oh yeah, what's up?
I could get mine. Are you trying
Oh
to skip
yeah,
over me?
sorry,
You trying to
sorry.
skip over me?
Nico, sometimes
You
you
know
just.
what? You know what? Ever since I started making those very realistic reenactments that I've been doing for like the last week, I've been getting some very strong hate. I can't keep a serious face.
Oh, I was like, strong hate. Like what?
No. So I'm about to go Heisei era. I'm gonna go with Return of Godzilla.
Yeah.
You know, seems very. You know, it's literally the follow-up sequel. Even if you watch the American version of both films, you're gonna understand it because they really directly bring in Raymond Burr. Easy.
Yeah.
So Millennium, you guys are, you know, I agree with Chris. It's very much a toss-up. You know, you have GMK, you have Godzilla 2000. I do enjoy both those movies. What I'm gonna go with is Godzilla against the Mechagodzilla, because then it ties in the original.
Oh, you're right.
With like the bones and stuff.
The bones,
so someone like be like, that's a really cool Easter egg. That's a real, it's gonna bring like a somewhat of appreciation. Yeah, I didn't really like the movie at all. It's great background noise, but like still, like it's, you know, it's just
that's true.
like it's a full circle thing. And Reiwa, I mean, I personally enjoyed Shin Godzilla a lot. You know, I don't think you can go really right or wrong choosing between Godzilla 2014 and Shin Godzilla. Actually, I don't think there's any wrong decision there. If you choose Shin Godzilla, you're going to get a little bit different of a type of Godzilla, and it gives you something new to look at, which is cool. And hopefully, by the time if you were to watch those three movies in order, if you went from Gojira to Return to Godzilla and Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, then you can be like, oh, well, this is a nice new take on it. You know, you're going to see it as something new. But if you watch even just the American Godzilla 2014, you're just going to be like, oh, this is a nice, like, realistic, probably the most realistic movie we have in Godzilla. It's going to be nice to see something completely different. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, awesome. So is there anything else, Evan, that you wanted to discuss with this kind of topic? Because we actually do have another topic that you brought up that we can also discuss. So
no, I just wanted to add first that actually, as much as fans want to shoot on it, I think 98 is a perfectly good.
Oh, that's true. We didn't think about 98
because you have like the Jurassic Park fans, right, for the ending.
Yeah.
You have just a typical Hollywood film for it with it's Emmerich, so you got the disaster films.
Yep.
But then if you like it, to this day, the animated series is one of the best Godzilla media. It's a sequel to that, so if you like it, you can get one of the best media of Godzilla in general as well, just following it up. And it's more realistic to Godzilla than 98 is as well. So I don't know. I think that's kind of important too.
That is true. Yeah, that's actually one of the films that I still want to show my fiance because she hasn't seen that one. I'm like, this was like the first American attempt. It's more campy. It's a little bit more campy. It's a little more fun. You know, we'll see how it. You know, there's like a really funny French guy or whatever. I really like that character. You know, so yeah, no, that's right. 98. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've gone on record saying I don't really mind 98 as much as I think nowadays the whole hatred for it is just kind of old now. You know, it's just kind of we can move on. We're good. You know, so all right, but I don't know anything else that we can discuss in terms of this topic. Is actually kind of a quick topic, but is there anything else that you guys wanted to go over with this one?
I actually have a very interesting question. And it was actually one of the topics I was going to tell you about, Chris. What is your favorite movie from each era?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. All right, Evan, let's start with you.
Since we're discussing eras, I
Yeah.
just figured that out there.
So Showa, it might be Mechagodzilla. I think that's kind of the turning point of this. It's kind of the closest you can get to Gojira in terms of quality and
Hmm.
not necessarily narrative, but yeah. So that one for sure. Heisei, you got. Oof, that one's hard.
It is. There's a lot of good ones in it.
Probably maybe just King Ghidorah. I think the android stuff's
Oh,
really goofy, and I like seeing it. So,
yeah.
Millennium GMK, of course. Although I do love Tokyo SOS, I'm not a big fan of Against Mechagodzilla. Me and Nico actually,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
he put a Twitter thread about it, and I'm not a fan of the way they fight in that film. But I love everything else about it, the way it looks. But I love Tokyo SOS. But probably GMK just because it's actually good in general.
Hmm.
And then Ray Walking in the Monsters for sure. It's not even. It's. I'm not saying it's the best, but I enjoy watching it the most. I love what they did, the little callbacks in that film.
Hmm. Hmm. What about you, Nico? This time I didn't skip over you.
So the show, I just really think you can't really go wrong with. There's like three films I really think you can't really go wrong with watching. I don't think you could go wrong with watching the original Gojira movie. I don't think you go wrong
Yeah, you can't.
with that. I don't think you could go wrong watching Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. I don't think you could go wrong watching with that. Maybe the King Caesar thing gets a little
Yeah.
confusing because it's like, oh, it's our family monster. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Okay.
that is like the one thing where it's very. That's the only campy thing in that movie. It's like we have a
Thing too,
family
yeah.
monster. I'm like,
Family monster.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Wait,
yeah,
does every family have
okay.
one?
Yeah. Those are the two. The third one will probably have to be. I know. No, I am on the verge of saying Godzilla vs. Hedorah, just because
Yeah.
it is a very campy, fun movie, and there's an actual like message behind for the time that it is made.
There is.
Uh,
It's
I'm not
still
going to
it's
talk
still
about.
kind of can be a topic for today's climate,
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
how
Yeah,
things are.
yeah, uh,
Maybe if it's even more nowadays.
mhm, yeah.
Um,
I would agree. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with Gojira for the show. Just but in all actuality, I don't think those three movies really have. You can really do go no wrong with watching that. Heisei, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
yeah, of course. I knew
Yeah,
it.
it's honestly very close between that and King Ghidorah. The King
Mhm.
Ghidorah movie is very. I think it's a very fun and interesting movie to watch.
Yeah, it is.
I know people technically say like, oh, I remember being very confused about the time travel stuff, but like the one I watched it recently, I'm like, why was that? Why was I ever just constantly thinking about it and just not like just watching it?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just not just like I'm thinking way too deep into a movie that has no philosophical or like crazy science behind it. It's literally we go back in time, we stop this, and we're good.
Yeah.
But something else happened. But
Something, yeah.
that'd be like the tie between the two. Millennium, I would probably have to say yeah, GMK or I'll probably even say Godzilla 2000. I feel like Godzilla 2000 breathes fresh life
Hmm.
after the Heisei era and the attempt for the Godzilla film in '98. Right, I'm gonna stick with Shin Godzilla. I really think Shin Godzilla was a very cool concept of evolving, becoming an amphibious creature and such, and then just turning into this monster.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see if they do come up with a sequel or something. If there is, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have something with Shin Godzilla when it comes to a sequel, but yeah, I think other than Gojira, because I think that's just one that's the default, like for Showa, like that just has to be one of them. But I think other than Gojira, I would say um Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and Terra Mechagodzilla. I'm gonna kind of combine those ones because they are sort of a duology going on with them, and like Terra Mechagodzilla just has so many cool, the Japanese version especially. Like there's a lot of things in it that was there that the English version cut out that just made it like the English version. As soon as I saw the Japanese one, it made the English version completely obsolete for me. I was like, it doesn't even exist anymore because of the whole Katsura thing, where the thing where she like where she gets shot. No, that's the thing. Like she shoots herself But in the American version, it's like the guy comes in and shoots her. So it changes it like actual changes the plot in a worse way. It's like no, Katsura, she like actually sacrifices herself, which is great. So I would say, other than Gojira, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla with Terror Mechagodzilla, because I feel like those come as a package deal. And then Heisei, it's Returns to Godzilla. I mean, it's just like of course it's just got to be. And with Millennium, that this one has always been so tough. I've always been. See, I prefer Godzilla against Mechagodzilla actually over Tokyo SOS. I like against Mechagodzilla just on the fact that it is the only Mechagodzilla, like the only versus Mechagodzilla film where it is just Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. There is no other monster that comes in to annoy them or whatever. Like it's just those two, one on one. Let's go. That's it. That's why I really like it. But I feel like with Millennium, it's I want to say GMK, but I really like 2000 as well. I just think 2000 was such a, once again the Japanese version. I feel like there are again character differences with how the dialogue is said and how the lines are read or whatever. I just remember like the reporter, the girl, whatever, not the little girl, but the woman that joined their little group or whatever. I remember in the English version her being very annoying and like whiny, complaining and all that. But in the Japanese version, it like the actress herself had such a different like inflection when she spoke, and she was less complaining, and I actually liked her character more. But GMK though, it is just like it is just one of those amazing Godzilla films that I just can't stop thinking about. So I would probably have to say GMK for Millennium. For Reiwa, I would agree with Nico. It's definitely Shin, because it's everything that Gojira did and more, because you have this new design of Godzilla and all that. But then I think breaking it down, I mean, like out of the MonsterVerse films, what do you guys think? Like, what's your favorite out of those ones?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with King.
King of the Monster, yeah.
I just think it's visually the best one too. Honestly, I think Godzilla vs Kong kind of dropped the ball in the visual department. I don't know what really happened with that one, but it's still fun. I enjoy watching it, but I don't know what happened with the visuals.
Nico,
I'm gonna go with Godzilla 2014. Just the other two, I just wasn't a huge fan of the story. It just the King of the Monsters kind of like takes it in a serious tone with just a poor story. Like I just don't get the connection there. And then obviously Godzilla versus Kong, it just seemed like it was supposed to be serious, but then it's supposed to be campy fun too.
yeah.
I'm just like I still couldn't just really grasp onto it. At least got towards Godzilla 2014. I got like a decent storyline with Godzilla that it does take itself seriously too.
Yeah.
That this is an actual threat instead of like
there's like no funny lines in 2014 at all. There's like none of that MCU dialogue that like is in 2014. Like one of the biggest things about King of the Monsters that I really resented was the dialogue. Like one of the guys was cracking jokes all the time, and they actually used the joke, "Oh my Godzilla." I was like, you've got to be like, someone got paid to write that line. Like, so.
The thing that I never understood was like, oh, little Sarah's all around fight action. I'm like, how do you know that he said that?
I know,
like,
right? That's what I mean. Because that's what I mean.
Why are you saying it now after the dude is dead?
It's that whole.
Always says it. I don't.
Yeah, man. It's that whole MCU. It's that MCU style dialogue, and it only works for MCU. Only superhero comic books, whatever, can have that funny dialogue, because that's just what it is. It's superheroes, funny, campy, whatever. You can't bring that into something like this. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, if I was a military dude and there was some guy, especially a scientist, who was cracking jokes all the time like that, I'd fire. I'm like, get out. We're dealing with giant monsters over here, an apocalyptic scenario, and you're making jokes over here. Like,
yeah,
no,
it does not.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I've been very lukewarm with the MonsterVerse. It's never been my all-time super favorite. I feel like as time has gone on, I feel like these movies aren't going to hold up as they're not going to be as timeless, I don't think, as the other eras have been, and especially Shin. I think Shin is just going to be the most timeless thing ever. But I feel like out of all three, in terms of Godzilla films, because I know there's Skull Island. Actually, to be honest, I think Skull Island's my favorite, and it's not even
It's the
Godzilla.
best one.
You
It's the
know,
best one.
yeah, like it's
Okay, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Okay, I got move, man. Skull Island was. Oh man,
yeah, like that.
Skull Island was just that good. That
Yeah,
was good.
that's what I mean. It's like it's not even a Godzilla. Like it's like the Gamera situation with the Heisei stuff. It's like Gamera
Oh,
actually probably did it better than Godzilla in the Heisei era. So it's like the same thing with this. It's like King Kong, like Kong Skull Island was just like it had the perfect mesh of seriousness, but also cheesiness, and the dialogue was tamed, but it still had some funny moments. But it was still like,
the cast played well off each other too. You had
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson who was serious. You
Oh
had,
my god, yeah, like
this
John
is,
Goodman. John
Tom
Goodman
Goodman,
is
yeah.
yeah,
He was
and
good.
Tom Hiddleston. No, Tom
Yeah,
Hiddleston. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have John C. Riley.
Yeah,
Who's
Yep.
like natural. So like they just all meshed so well together,
yeah,
and just wow.
yeah. Like
We forgot about Kong Skull Island.
I
We
know.
talked about
Well, because we're like trying to stick with Godzilla
Yeah,
only, but
yeah.
that's the thing. Like when you
No.
talk about the MonsterVerse, you have to kind of include Skull Island, and it's
Yeah, all right,
it's always
yeah.
been that outlier of like actually the finest MonsterVerse film, and it's not
Yeah,
even
I got-
Godzilla.
I
Like
changed my answer now to Kong Skull Island now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Now I know once again we don't really like to talk about it, but when it comes to the anime trilogy, do you guys have a favorite out of that trilogy? Or at least your least,
I'll let it go
the
first.
least of most evil or something. However,
I guess the first, because the first, at least as a film, I guess it is also, but if you read the novels, they're super freaking good. So at least the
That's how it
first,
always is.
yeah, at least the first is. I'm not even talking about the novel of the book. There's novels that take place before the
Oh,
the movie, and
oh,
it's like the story
yeah.
of why they had to leave. So if you combine those, it becomes pretty good. But I think having to do that is kind of a problem already. But yeah, I guess the first one.
Okay, Nico.
I didn't watch any of them.
Oh, that's right. You still haven't seen them. Oh my god, dude.
I don't want to watch them. Like I just don't have the capacity for more disappointment in my life in terms of Godzilla after watching Raids again.
Hey, how about then we'll have to do this. We'll have to do like either a podcast episode or whatever where it's us doing a reaction of the film where you have to see it. You'll watch it with me and then we can riff on it. There you go. That's something. Yeah, I don't know. For the anime trilogy, I enjoyed the first one relatively enough. And the second one is just the worst in my opinion. But the third one I liked the most actually out of all of them. I think the third one it was very climactic. I liked how the bad guys were the like really bad guys, like they weren't like hiding anymore. Like I think I like
Yeah.
the whole climactic element of it, and the King Ghidorah design I thought was unique at least because it wasn't just like it was very different, yes, but at least it wasn't a city. So that's there's that. But yeah, okay. So the next small topic that we can we'll do like a double topic here. So Evan, the other topic you wanted to discuss, elaborate on that. See what,
Yeah, so Final Wars, we all know it had some kind of reputation when it came out, especially the box office. But
oh well, yeah,
did
not very
it,
much.
did it, was it worth it? Like, if you watch that and you're like, oh, here's 10 years, which they did tell us, how are you feeling after that? Like, was it actually something that's, and we can use hindsight too, because I think in hindsight it looks way better. But
Yeah, Nico
yeah.
knows my opinion on this film, so
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know my opinion on it. But what do you think, Evan? You start.
So even when this came out, I didn't have a problem with it. I've always loved this film. I
Just
don't
know that
necessarily
whatever
think
you say here is going to determine, whether I kick you off
side.
now or whatever. Is it?
Well, I already gave Nico Mechagodzilla 2, so he has one win. But but yeah, I never had a problem. I've always loved it. I don't necessarily think it's like a good film, but I do enjoy it. I mean, it's the right amount of insanity and just nonstop action that you can't help not to just look at it and be like, okay, they did that.
Yeah.
And the weakest parts, unfortunately, are the Godzilla fights, excluding maybe Monster X. but before that, I feel like I was much more interested in just what is this crazy American man doing against these aliens. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like it. I mean, I think telling people there's 10 years is it's kind of hard to be like, are you ready for 10 years wait? And to be
Mhm.
like, was this worth it? I don't know if there's anything that can do that, but I still see it as a good film, so I enjoy it.
All right, Nico.
Enjoy this movie. I really don't. It's a movie that it suffers from in my opinion, the Monsterverse disease of, or at least the latter two of that being King of the Monsters and, well, just King of the Monsters specifically, because Kong knew they were doing, but it wants to be serious but super fun at the same time. There's an extremely fine line of like what counts as extremely fun and what it's a mix of
I would
tones.
have to disagree with. I think this film wanted it to be
I
serious.
disagree
I
with
don't think there was any
I,
seriousness
I,
into it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's been a really long time. So this is exactly why I'm going back to watch some of these movies, just because it's been that long.
Yeah.
Like the whole like human interaction kills me. It pains me to watch, except when Dawn Fry's on screen.
Yeah.
I
Crazy
mean,
American.
you can't beat Don Fry. Like,
Just because it's Dawn Fry, but like, anyways, like I find myself painfully watching it. The side by side, like the Exilian is alright. The leader's
I
like
love him.
he's the most likable character for me. The other, like, the dude that goes rogue, like, almost kills his comrades. I'm like, I forget what happened there. This is why I need that. All I know is when I do remember it, I didn't like it. The reason I didn't like it was just because this doesn't it doesn't click. It doesn't click for me. I don't know why.
uh,
It's
why do
just
I work with this man? I don't know.
there was a time where I passionately hated this movie. I've lost that passion, and now I gotta go rewatch it. Maybe this could all change. For all
I
I
think
know,
you
I
need to
could
rewatch
love
it.
the. For all I know, I mean, dude, I used to hate Godzilla vs. Megalon. Now it is like a top tier movie for me. It is so stupid. It is so funny though. It is so awesome. Godzilla's Revenge, so stupid. I hated that movie. I accidentally left it in the freezer for like a video one time. I threw it in there just as a joke, and I left it in there on accident. Like, oh no, and it still worked. Like, the thing was indestructible, but like,
Yeah.
I hated it so much. I love it so much. It is so stupid. It is the dumbest thing ever. It is, but now it's so damn adorable and corny. It's awesome. So maybe I'll turn to one of those movies, Godzilla Final Wars. But for the moment, I gotta stick with what past me knows, and past me did not like it. It's like what is it like? It's like my past life. You know how some people are like, oh, deja vu. Oh, maybe here's my past life. You know, well, I don't know. That was me in my past Godzilla fan life,
Uh,
just hating on Final Wars.
well, I remember actually when I first watched it, didn't even know that it was supposed to be the last film in the Millennium series, and uh, I remember actually not liking it as well. I remember the first time seeing it when the credits rolled, I was like, well, that kind of sucked because I was super young and I wanted to see more of the monster action. Like, yeah, I will agree that the montage part where Godzilla's just going through all the guys and like literally like 5 seconds each. Like, I remember getting so pumped when I saw Godzilla and Zilla fighting each other, and then Sum 41's music plays, like We're All to Blame, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, this is awesome, and it's over in like 5 seconds. I'm like, nah, okay, oh, like that sucked. But as I grew up and I watched it again, like I just realized I got it. Like I understood what they were doing with this film. And like really at the bare bones of it, it's a remake of Destroy All Monsters. Like it's clearly there on purpose. Like, yeah, we're gonna bring back all these Showa monsters. Like no one from Heisei came back, right? I mean, you didn't know, like Biolante wasn't in there. No Mechagodzilla wasn't even in there at all, actually, which was interesting. Just no Destroy, no Space Godzilla, no, yeah, like Batra wasn't in there. Yeah, so like it was just a complete Showa tribute like like what I'm trying to say is too, like, if you want Showa craziness, that is what they were trying to do. They were pulling all the like Showa funny cheesy goodness into a modern day movie at the time, and like that's what Final Wars is. Like, it's just, if you want that Showa goodness, which is so funny to me, because I don't understand why a lot of older Showa fans don't like Final Wars. Because I'm like, that's literally a modern interpretation of it. What do you mean? Like, how do you not like this film? It's crazy. I don't know. But
I will say the best thing about my favorite thing about Final Wars was Minya. It was just so.
I will. That's just Minya though in general. If Minya was in anything, I would hate it. So like, I don't like Minya at all. Even in Final Wars, Final Wars can't save Minya. That's the truth of
They even
that.
brought back ugly Minya, so it's
I
clearly
know. I'm like, why did you? Yeah. Once again, show a tribute for sure. But like, and I always thought like the monster fights might not have been that great, but the human stuff I feel like was super enjoyable. There's never a dull moment in Final Wars. Like, that's the thing too. Like, in almost 90% of Godzilla movies, there's always the scenes of the humans in a boardroom or some kind of computer room looking at computer monitors and just talking and just talking. And they're all in business suits. You ever notice this, by the way? They're all in everyone business suits. That's the thing. Not in Final Wars. Everyone's wearing different kind of clothing. You got some like cool looking Power Ranger looking guy over here. You got Don Fry wearing his nice trench coat, black, whatever, like looks awesome. And you got the aliens and stuff, and the whole Matrix vibe to it. Like, it's so great. And like the action sequences of the human stuff is so fun to watch. It's cheesy, but that's just what makes it so great. And I think, as like, if that was to end Godzilla even for 10 years, but even if that was going to be the end forever, let's say Legendary never even came around. Like, let's say maybe the plan fell through, or they didn't get the rights or something. And if Final Wars was still to this day the last Godzilla film, I think that's a way to go out. Like, that's a way to finish your franchise after 50 years. But yeah, so that's where I gotta go with that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any other closing thoughts on Final Wars, just because I feel like I talk about that film a lot. But I don't know, Evan, is there any?
I feel like you're notoriously known for loving Final Wars.
I am, dude. I am violently notoriously known for loving Final Wars.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too many good scenes. Honestly, I mean, you have him just yelling Gigan. We all know that's ridiculous.
Rise!
I think one of the best scenes in the film is just when Don Fry's telling him the plan before they go to, I think it's Antarctica, but just even before that.
Yep.
That is a serious moment in a non-serious movie, and it's like, okay, they did it well.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go do that, and we're gonna wake up Godzilla, and then after it's all done, then we're gonna put him back to sleep. And they're like, what? It's like, exactly, that's what we're doing.
And then Monster X is by far one of the best monsters ever made. Monster X is
there were a lot of detractors from it, saying though he was more of an Ultraman looking kind of enemy or whatever. But I mean, to be honest, like, I feel like Ultraman monsters and Godzilla monsters can kind of mix. I feel like there's
they
no
the same suit sometimes. How are you going to be angry? Come on.
Right, like, yeah, I feel like a lot. I mean, I feel like maybe as Ultraman has gone on, I feel like maybe the monsters have gotten a little bit more outlandish, and I guess Godzilla tries to keep them a little bit more grounded, even in some of the more outlandish Godzilla films. But like for Monster X, though, I feel like that's just a badass suit. Like, it's just so awesome looking, And then obviously, and then turned into Kaiser Ghidorah, is like one of the best freaking things ever. So, which I guess we can thank Rebirth of Mothra for. Because if it wasn't for that film, I don't think they would have come up with the idea where King Ghidorah has 4 legs. I mean, like,
4 legs, yeah, that was
like
cool.
I'm actually not a big fan of the Kaiser design, but I do love that transformation. I think having it like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a little dated in the CGI, but it kind of still looks good to today's standards, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would say maybe to Toho's, the Japanese film industry standard, I guess, not really American, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but any other closing thoughts on both these topics?
I wanted to add actually that Godzilla 2000, because you guys put it up there. I think the only thing holding me back is if they would have used Orga more, because he has a great design too, and he's just kind of not used enough, I think.
I feel there's also limitations of the suit because it looks very bulky. It's similar to like Biollante, where it's just like it's this amazing designed suit, but they just can't do much with it because it's it's too much, right? Like I feel like if Orga was turned in, like if they did a CGI Orga, they'd probably be able to do more with it because
I think they could have done more anyway because the Biollante suit is insane. The if we see the
yeah.
special the background stuff for them, they did so much crazy stuff for that.
Yeah, I mean, like just like people on the. I remember reading like a book or something. It said like there were people on the rafters that would like have strings that would be able that would
The
move
tentacles,
the
yeah, it's
tentacles or
insane.
something like that, or like Godzilla's tail or something. I don't remember, but yeah. So I don't know, but okay, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think there's much else to discuss with this topic, but I feel like for a really cool, guest appearance, fan appearance on podcasts and everything, I feel like this was really fun. So
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
more of these will come. We just have to wait for more of the scheduling to get here as
Yeah.
we're recording this. We're not entirely sure when this podcast will be releasing at the moment, but we definitely are excited for episode 5 to come out soon in a couple days now as of this recording, and then this episode will be out after that one. And yeah, so once again, Evan, thank you so much for just being an awesome fan, supporting the Kickstarter and all that stuff. How can people find you again? Plug yourself.
So YouTube is Evan Godzilla. I do video essay stuff. I'm working on where to start Ultraman right now. I was actually gonna ask you guys off stream because I have the reaction already filmed for the Ultraman one.
Mm.
But I was gonna ask you guys when can I put that up because obviously I'm waiting till you guys put it. But yeah, so I'm working on a bunch of stuff. I have Ultraman, kind of what I'm bigger on right now, which is like my 5,000, 6,000 view stuff, is the Ultraman manga versus anime differences. So if you like that, yeah, I'm kind of more of Ultraman than Godzilla, but I'm trying to do what I can.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that sounds exciting. I like video essay stuff. I find that very fun, especially like if you're working on something and you can put it off like it's like on the side or something, you can listen to it. Like I always love doing video essays with that. Like I just like putting them on the side while I'm like doing something else. It's just nice, like work noise or something, whatever. So but I always learn something new too with essays as well, with video essays. So yeah, but awesome. Well, that will do it for another episode of the Kenshin Cast, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, Evan, thanks again so much for the Kickstarter stuff. We can't thank you enough, because people like you, that's why we're able to continue Kenshin Chaos, and that's why Kenshin Studios is where we are at the moment. And yeah, that's all I got. Anything else, Nico?
No, other than thank you, Evan.
I know, we
Yeah,
just
thanks
can't
for having
stop
me
saying
on.
thank you. Yeah. So, all right, that's going to do it for us, guys. We'll see you in the next podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Kenshin Cast. This is another special edition of the Kenshin Cast where we have our Kickstarter backers here who helped us fund the rest of Kenshin Chaos Season 1. We are very excited to have them on board. So I'm going to introduce them. We have Akno Goji here.
What's up?
And then we have Sean, actually, which is his username is Entertainment Corner.
Hey.
And we really want to thank these two guys. They replied to the emails that we have, the special little invite that we had. If you guys watched the other segment of this podcast, we had Evan Zilla on board as well for this. So we're very excited to do this just as a little extra thank you to the backers, for those of you who replied to the email. So, and yeah, but really big special thanks to these two, actually, because these guys were like the highest amounts towards the backers that was on Kickstarter. So because of you two, you guys actually, I mean, you guys really helped make it happen. So we want to thank you guys very much for your generosity and all that stuff. So we're hoping you guys have enjoyed episode 5 so far, and that you'll be enjoying the future episodes as we continue on. So okay, so in today's episode, we're going to be doing 2 topics that was picked by these two. So the first topic is going to be Akno Goji. He wanted to do what was the best films that ended the series. So whether that was Terra Mechagodzilla, Destroya, or Final Wars. So we'll discuss that, go into opinions about that, and all that good stuff. And then for Sean, he wanted to discuss basically just the modern era of Godzilla, just how things are. Do you want to say like probably from 2014 to now? Do you think that's a good like?
Yeah, that's pretty
period?
good. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll go from there. But other than that, let's get into this discussion, guys. So we'll start with Akno's discussion here. So Akno, what do you introduce this topic? What do you think? What are your opinions on it? Let's dig in.
Well, I think the first ending. Well, it was actually 2 final movies for the show era, like Destroy All Monsters and Terra Godzilla.
Oh, true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That is right.
but I think but because the Shoyo Monsters did so well, they decided to like kill the franchise after that.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm not really a big fan of Shoyo Monsters. It's probably like, eh,
I've gone on
yeah,
record not really being a fan of Straw Monsters. I find it very kind of boring, to be honest. I don't know about you guys,
is.
but
Yeah.
I think Terror of Mechagodzilla is probably a better ending for the Showa era,
I would agree.
but it's probably yeah, but it's probably not the best out of the final movies. I already know what my is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think like overall story, I think Terror of Mechagodzilla is probably pretty good.
It's really good. I love. If you have you
Yeah.
guys watched the Japanese version of it,
No,
Uh,
not me.
I strongly recommend it. Way better than the English.
Oh, I have. It's been
Yeah.
a minute, but yeah.
It changes the movie drastically. Like it's crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah.
Mm.
But
And then,
yeah.
and especially like, I think I can't even remember the characters. The cyborg lady. what's her name?
Katsura.
Katsura.
Yeah, there's Katsura. I can't remember the other people's names, but
Is it Dr. Mofone?
yes, there,
Dr.
yeah,
Mifune.
Dr. Mifune. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
The evil bad guy. What's his name?
The
I don't think you
yeah,
ever say his
the
I don't
alien
think he has a
dudes.
name.
the
Uh,
alien dudes.
Yeah, but I remember
hole.
we
Based
actually
on, like the
Yeah.
planet, something from the black hole. I'm like,
some
what?
yeah some black hole alien something like yeah. But I remember
Yeah.
actually
They're actually one of the best alien bad guys.
oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I love them.
Especially
They're campy as hell.
A
Yeah.
lot better than
Yeah.
the cockroaches.
Yes, way better than those
Oh,
guys.
They're not
Yeah.
bad. I actually like the cockroaches,
Ah.
even though it's kind of ridiculous.
They have their own thing, but I
Yeah.
feel like if they
Even though
both
the
fought
movie-
each other, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So then, what do you think about the? So before we move on to the next series, like what Nico and Sean, what do you guys think of in terms of Showa? Do you think that either Destroy All Monsters should have ended, maybe, or Terra Mechagodzilla was better?
I'll let Sean first. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I think Terra Mechagodzilla was a lot better of an ending. I think it's a lot more enjoyable than Destroy All Monsters. I thought it was pretty boring as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say Terra Mechagodzilla is a lot better.
Also, Sean, I gotta tell you, you got your representing, man. You gotta
Yeah.
show off the merch there.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of my shirts over there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know you do have some merch too as well.
I got
So
like two of those. One that you guys special made for me. And
Yes,
the
we
other
did,
two-
yep.
I got like two
Yeah,
of
we
the
did.
same.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Nico, what do you? What's your opinions on that?
I personally think Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. Destroy All Monsters. For some reason, I thought about I don't know why. I almost said All Monsters Attack. Those are two completely
Not
different
that
movies.
one.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
why'd you say okay? And we're not here to talk about it. I was about to get
Not
very
yet.
defensive.
Not yet. We will talk
Very
about it in a
defensive,
future episode.
But I personally think Destroy All Monsters and Terra Mechagodzilla, they're kind of on par with each other.
Mhm.
I think they're both okay. I think they're both really, I guess I would say acceptable to end the Showa era. My personal opinion, I'm probably gonna lean towards more. I'd probably lean towards more Terra Mechagodzilla. I find it a
Yeah.
little bit more entertaining than Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. I personally think this series would have, or the era would have ended perfectly on Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, the '74 version.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, seems to be better fitting instead of obviously this next film. It wasn't necessary.
You gotta
but,
milk that
you know,
Mechagodzilla money,
Yeah,
man. You just
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
milk-
you do, yeah. But it was. I can only imagine how big of a deal it was at the time too.
yeah.
Like a robotic doppelganger of yourself, of a huge character, and oh man, this is it. This is the rivalry.
Yeah.
So I completely get why they made it. But yeah, I would probably lean towards Terror Mechagodzilla to end the series.
Also, wasn't that Honda's last movie, right? Was Terra Mechagodzilla?
Yes, I think so. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Fukuda did the first one.
Yeah, and then no, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah. Yeah. And then
I thought
wasn't
he
it?
did like some of the. I thought he did some of the Heisei era ones.
I
Are
don't
you
know if he
sure?
did. I don't remember. But I also wasn't it. I think it was also Oh geez, this
Now I gotta do some
I'm gonna have to
research.
revoke my
Oh God.
Godzilla card. I don't remember his name, but the Haru Nakajima. Yeah, wasn't it was his the last time he was in the Godzilla suit, right? Terra
No,
Mechagodzilla.
that was Godzilla.
Yeah.
No, that was Godzilla versus Gigan.
Oh, that's
That
right.
was
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I remember. I think I got confused because I remember like some footage of him when he was in
Oh, I know what
that
you're talking
suit, but it
about.
was
That
like
was the
he was
last.
just having like I think it was like it wasn't a film, but it was just him in the suit for the last time, and Toho just recorded it for fun. Like they were like, "Oh, this is the last time he's in the suit." Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, let's move on to the Heisei era. So, yeah, Akno, we're back up to you. What do you think about Destroy? I should. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Let's
it's
go
kind of
into
funny because
it.
we had a similar topic about this early with
Yeah,
Matt from
yeah.
Monstrosities. But what do you think?
That's actually between these two. It's actually kind of hard to pick because I like them both. Mechagodzilla does have the better. If it would have ended there, would it probably be a better? No, not really. It's got more kaiju, better kaiju's than Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Well, not really.
I'll give it that.
Mm,
I'll give it that one,
Yeah,
Nico. Give it that one.
yeah. But I wouldn't. But it's kind of hard to pick
Yeah.
those.
I mean,
I think.
when Nico and I discussed it in the other podcast, I mean, we were, I mean, even though we have different opinions on it, we both were like, they're still both really good movies. It's very
Yeah.
hard to,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you really had to, if you had to pick,
It'd probably be Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nico's gonna hate me.
Even though I do
Listen,
like-
Acto, please.
I'm not
man.
saying anything.
I might change your
know that Godzilla
I might change your opinion after you hear what I say. I'm prepared now.
Of course he's
I'm
prepared.
Yeah.
prepared.
No, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. That's mostly for one fact. Godzilla dies. That's I gotta agree.
He's got you
Because
there.
That's like the most. That's like the most saddest death. I cry every time I see that till this day.
Oh yeah, oh
Every
yeah,
time I watch, it's sad as hell.
oh yeah, for sure.
Don't get me wrong. I think Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 has some sad moments in it, but
Mhm,
not as sad as Godzilla vs. Destroyer. It is a depressing movie throughout,
Yeah.
and it's not boring whatsoever. It is really interesting, and I know people said the only problem I have with the movie is probably Mickey, because she just feels like forced in. And it's
Yeah, it shouldn't
not
really
as
do
good,
much.
Yeah.
and her character is not as good as it was in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, what do you for Heisei? What do you think? Destroyer, pretty good finale, or
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should go with Nico here, but I'm gonna go with you guys. I mean,
This is revenge.
yeah.
I love this. Oh, this is great. Oh, well, yeah. And then Nico, we obviously know. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't given. I'll put my 2 cents into it. So, obviously, I think Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, what is the better, would have been the better ending for the Heisei era. And honestly, I don't really have anything against Godzilla versus Destroyer. I thought it was an okay ending. Like it's okay. Like Terror of Mechagodzilla. The only problem I have with that movie, really is Destroy himself.
Mhm.
And you're probably thinking,
Let's not
what?
destroy it,
Wait,
right?
hold on.
Why?
Hear me out. Wait. Hold on. Let me finish. So I have a problem with Destroyer. I understand, like, people are like, oh, but he is like a living being that is the Oxygen Destroyer. I get that. I respect the origins. I like the origins. I like the idea. But he never gives off main character energy. He's pushed off the side for the majority of the movie. I actually rewatched the movie, and even the main characters, the military, the grandson of what the hell's his name? You know who I'm
You mean
talking
the
about, right?
the
Yeah.
student?
The student, yeah, the student.
Yeah,
We'll
the
call him
college
student,
student
yeah.
guy that
Yeah, the college student. There throughout the movie, the characters that human characters that the movie surrounds, there's no concern for Destroya. There's
True.
not the main protagonist and antagonist of this movie is Godzilla. That he is the center point and the main focus of the entire movie, because once he dies, the world is going to go into shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they just and Destroy's kind of like this. I shouldn't say plot armor. That's probably he is like a side character. You know, you have the scientist and the TV reporter dealing with Destroya. Then you have Mickey with Junior, and Junior is in himself a side character. And they're just kind of like, oh, okay, well, we can use Junior to lure Godzilla to the city, or actually just use Junior to lead him to Destroya, so Destroya could take on Godzilla.
MacGuffin, there you go.
Yeah, and it's just it's sickening. Like there's just no focus on Destroya at all, besides his little side story that he has, and then they're like, huh, cool, all right, now let's focus on Godzilla again. That is pretty much my biggest complaint about that movie. Not that I don't like the movie. I made a tier list and I put it at like a C because of like how Destroyer just isn't like I recently moved it up to an A. I moved it up to an A because all in all, I did very much like the movie. I like how Godzilla is both the protagonist and antagonist. I love how the story revolves around him and how you get emotionally involved. But the lack of emphasis and of Destroya, of being this terror that he can also destroy the world, is very, very, very much lacking. He's a character that is there, and it is.
I think he's only there for Godzilla to fight. That's the only reason why he's there.
Yeah, he's there to fight Godzilla, because if it was just Godzilla and Junior, the movie would not make any money. So they had to do something. And that's how I see that movie. Again, an all right ending. I like the movie. I very much liked it, but Destroya really just brings it down for me.
Yeah. We should probably also talk about the other Godzilla movies that were post, like the scrap ones. Should we talk about those or no?
That could be a good topic for another podcast. Yeah. Actually, for like lost scrap stuff. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's Destroy. I mean, I think that was a really good way to end the Heisei era. But it is interesting when you think about it. Like Showa and Heisei had two different movies that could have ended, or that like they had one movie that they thought was going to be the ending, and then they decided to make a couple more. So it's interesting how both those series. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then you go to the Millennium series, but this is where it gets really interesting because each movie was its own thing in a way, and you can't. There's really. I mean, as they were making it, really there was the one definitive ending, which was Final Wars. Like it wasn't like, oh, Tokyo SOS. Well, yeah, and we'll get to that. We'll debate actually which out of the three eras was the best finale out of those. So, but first, when it comes to the Millennium series, yeah, they only had one film because I don't think there was any records or anything saying that like GMK was supposed to be the final one, but then they made more, or Tokyo SOS was supposed, then they made one more, or something like that. So it's an interesting thing here. But Akno, what is your thoughts on Final Wars being the finale for the Millennium series?
Nico, you better put that up an S or higher, because that is the best movie.
Nico won't. He doesn't.
That is the best Godzilla movie of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's some haters, and yes, it has its flaws. The plot makes no sense. The story is buried there. It is one of the best Godzilla movies because it is a joyride out for the entire movie. There's nonstop fun. It's one of the. I was never bored during this movie. I don't think anybody can be bored during this movie.
Oh no, you'd be surprised. There'd be some people.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of dislike for Final Wars out there.
I know, but actually, it's like a huge. I think there's like the most. I think it's like half and half. Like, if you talk about Final Wars, people will literally get into a fight. Saying, no, it's good.
It is like there's an extremely fine line where you either really like it or you really hate it.
I don't think there's a middle ground.
The spectrum is very bipolar.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. It's one of the best.
It's on the light side of it.
Godzilla movie. it's to be honest, it's probably I already know what my pick is. This one, I already said it.
It's
Yeah,
honestly
don't
in my
spoil
top
it,
5.
man.
It really
Gotta
yeah.
keep the suspense, man. Gotta keep the suspense.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe his mind will change by the end of this. Who knows? We'll find out. But
Mm,
Sean, what are your thoughts with Final Wars being the finale?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I don't know. Some of the human stuff in it, it's really that's what drags the movie down for me. It's just I can't stand some of the humans except the Exilians. X.
Yeah.
oh my god!
Yeah.
Speaking of that, he is one of the best characters of all time.
Oh
And
man.
he is such a fun. You can tell that he is enjoying that role.
Oh, he
Both
relished it.
both English dub
Yeah,
and
both.
Japanese. It's amazing
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah,
I kind of
he is
secretly
really
like the
enjoying
English
it.
dub a little more for
Yeah,
him.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's fun.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's the
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Nico, what are your? Well, I mean, I know, but for the audience.
I dislike the movie. Again, this is one of those movies where I haven't seen in probably 10 plus years. It has been that incredibly long at this point in time. I remember disliking it for very obvious reasons. What I thought was very obvious when I was like, wow, 9 years ago, I actually remembered the movie. But it's been so far gone out of my mind that I can't really stand on my own ground because I was in such a different state of mind. I
Mhm.
see, Chris. I've matured since then.
I know you have. We saw a recent video of us in like almost 10 years ago, and it was really funny.
Don't you bring that up, Chris? Do not. Oh my gosh! Some of you will or will not find
The
out
world
what
may
he's
find
talking
out,
about.
dude.
But like, anyways, I have matured, and I'm willing to give this movie another shot. And I give everyone here on this podcast right now in our Discord and our subscribers that I will watch this movie and give it a second chance. This really give it a true to give it a true like opinion. I will not be swayed by any drugs. Alcohol will not make
Yeah,
will not,
I
will
remember
not
Goji Rex was saying that.
yeah.
Let's
I will
watch
not be
Final
under
Wars
the
High.
I will not be under the influence of any
No.
paraphernalia,
Yeah.
drugs. Nope, this is going to be a complete sober run.
I think we gotta watch it together, though, man. I think I would.
All
That'd be
right, man.
so
Yeah,
funny.
I'm
We
cool
just
with
do a
that.
watch party in Discord. Yeah.
But yeah,
We should. We should do a watch party. That would be fun.
I can't. Yeah, but
Ugh.
I can't really say, to be honest, at this point whether it's a good ending or not. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna say no, just because if I don't know, is kind of a decision. I'm just that unsure about my opinion at this point in time.
So, if not Final Wars, then what movie out of the Millennium series do you think would have ended better?
Wow.
Threw you a curveball there, didn't I? Yeah.
I'm not completely against. I'm not against GMK, but I'm also not against. I'm also not against Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Right, because that would have
I'm
been
not.
similar to
That's a-
Showa.
Yeah, it's similar to Showa, and
Yeah.
it's similar to what could have been the Heisei
Right.
ending, and even then the actual ending Destroya, because Destroya goes full circle. This would be another full circle moment.
Yeah. Because the
Tokyo
bones.
SOS is out of the
That's right.
picture, and even then Godzilla 2000. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Maybe I'd be a little indifferent
I
about
think
it, but
the only reason why
opposed to it,
Godzilla
so
2000 is
it's
because of Godzilla 1988. That's the
It-
Well,
only
yes,
reason.
it was definitely a reaction of that, but
So
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's
it-
hard
it's-
with it though because each film was its own thing, so it's hard to. It wasn't
Yeah.
like part of a actual canon series, so yeah, it
Yeah.
isn't. But I actually agree. If it wasn't for Final Wars, I'd probably say the Kiryu duology would be probably the better ending because it had the bones of the original Godzilla, so that would have made it full circle.
Yeah.
Like I think that actually probably would have been that would have been good. But okay, so with all that said, then now that we've discussed all the eras, out of all those, which movie? So we will go at the actual like factual what the last film was. So Terror Mechagodzilla against Destroya and against Final Wars. Out of those three films, which one did it the best? Out of all,
Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah, Akno's already got his. He's like, I'm already good.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
Sean,
one of the best
oh
movies
wait,
of all time.
Akno. So, do you have anything else to like explain why? Do you think out of all those three films?
Because you're never bored throughout the movie. And I know my only two complaints is that the plot's not good and the fights. I wish they were a little bit longer
Yeah, that's
because
yeah.
Godzilla just it does show that this Godzilla is overpowered, but I wish the fights were a little bit longer so you can see why he's
Mhm.
overpowered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though some of the enemies are weak, except for a couple.
Right. Yeah.
And it's also got one of the best fights in the Godzilla franchise, the final battle.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I think that the battle with Monster X,
for sure.
Gigan, Godzilla and Mothra versus Gigan, Monster X, and Kaiser Ghidorah.
Mhm.
It's probably one of the best fights in the entire franchise.
For sure.
Yeah.
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 Sean, what do you?
Because it is
Oh,
known.
what do you think, Sean?
It is known.
I think overall, I think Destroya was the better ending. In terms of just, I guess the overall movie. I think it's a lot better as an ending. But I mean, if I think Final Wars is like good for like the action-packed like explosion finale, but I think for me it would be Destroya because it had like the montage at the end with the
Mm-hmm.
end credits and stuff. So it felt like a great ending to the Godzilla legacy at that time.
Okay, Nico.
I'm honestly split between Terra, Mechagodzilla, and Destroya. Obviously, you guys heard what I had to say about Final Wars. It's just it's up to the point where I question myself whether it really was that as bad as I really thought it was or not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it really comes down to like that because again, they're both all right endings to me. I'm I'm stuck at a crossroads. I'm really stuck at a crossroads because you take a look at Mechagodzilla, who is I'm gonna say the peak rival of Godzilla. You know, take them duking out again, and instead of facing one monster, you're facing two monsters, as compared to Destroya, where Godzilla's actually coming to an end. Like this is a definitive end. It's no open book.
Well, it kind of did
cliffhanger.
because Godzilla Jr. kind of popped up.
Yeah, you're
towards
right.
the end,
You
so
are
it
you
did.
are indeed. Yep,
Yeah.
you are right.
And it was
So
and they never played on that.
so where yeah. I guess I think I'm gonna say Destroya.
Oh,
I am gonna say I'm gonna say Destroya.
we're getting him converted soon. Don't worry about it.
So,
I'm
no,
working.
you're not. I stand firm, and I picked Destroya because it's a very fitting ending. It is a very fitting ending for as Sean said, the Godzilla legacy. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is what you said, Sean.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a very fitting ending for the Godzilla legacy. With Godzilla dying, but then at the end, it's like the passing of the crown, if you will,
Mhm.
of the throne shifting into Godzilla Jr., which I thought was really cool. I was really happy.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's bittersweet. The king of the monsters that you've been following throughout what would have been like 84 to like 95.
Yeah.
That's coming to
if you could. It's actually 96 if you could when it's actually said in the movie.
Oh,
Because
well, I mean, from an
Yeah.
audience perspective, not like canon,
Yeah.
like universe perspective, but like from audience, like, oh yeah, I've seen it
yeah.
from 84
So-
to 95. Yeah.
Yeah, from 84 to
Yeah.
95, you grew up with this monster and to see him die. But then, once it's said,
I mean, even further from like if you watched from Showa too. I mean, like a lot of us
Yeah.
kids, we're watching his
like,
Showa first, and then all of a sudden he gets killed, and no wonder we all cried. So
yeah, I agree with that. Again, but the only thing I was in such a crossroads is just because, and I ask everyone here, please watch Godzilla vs. Destroya. Please watch it. Like, it is a really good movie, but at the same time, I'm telling you, Destroya just doesn't do, and he plays no part of the story besides just show up. That's all he does. There's nothing.
show up, read
there
the
to
script,
it.
and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, just imagine like not even this, not even like the suit actor, but Destroy just because like, oh, yeah, I can do
this
that.
is an easy
Yeah,
gig.
yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
All right. Where's my
It
check?
is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, but I promise you, if you go in and watch the movie, knowing what I said about Godzilla being the protagonist and the antagonist, you
Oh,
will
yeah.
see Destroy is like a side character. He's not as nearly as focused as any of the other enemies in the Heisei movie, except maybe unless the close one on par is Space Godzilla. He's another enemy that just kind of like shows up and
Ah,
he's another one that kind of like shows up and just like, oh, but hey, they recognize, hey,
Hey.
we need to stop him. Godzilla's trying to-
wait a minute. Space Godzilla kidnapped Godzilla's son. Okay, that's more than what Destroyer ever did to Godzilla Jr. Okay,
Okay.
Godzilla's son.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
but he fine, but still, Space Godzilla. I love
all right. You don't have to take my Space Godzilla. You don't have to take.
I
Space
love
Godzilla.
Space Godzilla.
Well,
I'll
you
always
don't- you don't
defend
have to
him.
take the Space Godzilla thing, but please watch the movie. Please watch the movie and take
Yeah,
what I
no,
said
it's-
about Godzilla being both the protagonist and the antagonist, because
Yeah.
you will make connections that the actual enemy here is Godzilla.
Mhm.
But in all actuality, the actual inhuman characters want Godzilla to die, but at the same time the audience is rooting for Godzilla to win. So
Mhm.
it's a really good conflict there.
He's the hero we need, not the
and
hero
then
we deserve.
Mickey too. She doesn't want Godzilla to die, so there's even some conflict within that story in of itself.
Of
The whole
course.
story surrounds Godzilla. Period. So I
Yeah.
mean, again, I'm gonna go. Anyways, I went off topic, but
No, you were on topic the whole time. Yeah.
yeah, Godzilla
Yeah, you
Godzilla
were.
versus Destroyer, I thought was the best ending out of the eras. Now, if we're talking about the Kenshin era trilogy, I think Godzilla Wrath of
Oh my
Hybrid
God.
is the absolute.
Well, that's
peak-
that's a
it's peak
no-brainer.
Godzilla. It's
Uh-uh.
peak Godzilla.
No, I
from
think it should have
from
stopped
all-
at World Apocalypse. I think right there that was peak.
yeah,
Peak.
yeah.
After World
No.
Apocalypse, it all just went downhill from there. I just No, I think and for me, I would have to go with Final Wars. Although I do tremendously agree with Sean though, how you were saying that in terms of like the it's more. I look at it more of a subtle ending compared to what Final Wars was. Like if you want something that's more subtle with a lot of themes and motifs, and Destroy is like perfect for that ending. But like Final Wars is just like full blown balls to the wall celebration of the whole franchise of 50 years at that point. So it is tough, but I would have to go with Final Wars just because it is just like that movie's
we need
just
a
so
tiebreaker.
good.
We need
It's
some-
so good. I know we need someone else in here to be like, break the tie. But no, I think that's good. 50-50. You know what that means though? It means that it's both films are fantastic. Although it's funny, no one said Terror Mechagodzilla. We're gonna have some person in the comments be like, you guys suck. No, Terror Mechagodzilla love over here. Like, no, trust me, it's a good film too. Terror Mechagodzilla is great.
It's gonna be the old heads. It's gonna be Richie. So no,
Yeah, Rich.
yeah, I love you, Rich. I love you, Rich, man. You're
He's gonna
awesome.
He's gonna come to your house and beat you with a block of vinyl. So, yeah.
I love you, Rich. Love you, Rich, man.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, no, that kind of, I think that pretty much wraps up that topic. I mean, I think we all said a pretty good amount of piece on that. Yeah, I guess to add to it, in terms of, I guess this is a good segue into the modern stuff of Godzilla, but like in terms of where we are right now with how, I guess from 2014 to with Kong, I guess Godzilla versus Kong. Although it's weird though because they're all splintered, because it's like you have the Monsterverse, but then you have the Anime Trilogy, then you got the anime, and then you have Shin Godzilla. So it's kind of a weird mix of things. But I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts like when it comes to like the Monsterverse? I guess because I guess that's easier to like narrow down. So with that,
Monsterverse,
yeah, like King of the Monsters or Kong. Like, do you think those? Which one?
well, Godzilla started it, so we'll probably have to say Godzilla. But I think, what are we trying to judge again? I draw a blank here.
King of the Monsters? Or
Yeah, Godzilla was King of the Monsters.
you
It's
think? Yeah.
out of the Monsterverse, it's probably the best. Maybe not out of the modern era, but probably out of the Monsterverse, it's probably the best of the four. Even though I don't care what anybody says about this movie. I know people hate this movie. They absolutely hate it because it's like, oh, it's just it's just nostalgia bait for Showa fans and Godzilla fans.
I've never
But
had
no,
a
I
big
absolutely.
issue with it, but it's cheesy. Turn your brain off film,
And
you know. Yeah.
Godzilla vs Kong, I know it's kind of there.
The more I think about it, the more issues I have with it. But that's for a
Yeah,
different topic, I would say. But so like Sean, let's I guess so. I mean, with that, I mean it's tough to figure out like the newer era of Godzilla when it like comes to endings and stuff because really it's all just continuing still. So I guess Sean, explain like this topic of modern era Godzilla. Like, what do you think? Like, just like what are your thoughts with everything with that? How do you want to guide this topic?
Well, when I thought of this topic, I was thinking like because like all my friends, they didn't know Godzilla until Godzilla versus Kong. That's probably a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised people didn't know him until Godzilla vs 2014 because it's when it started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Each film brings on new people. Yeah.
Even though I despise Godzilla 2014, it is so boring watching it. It is
It's way
really
different.
boring.
Yeah, it's way different from the others.
I know when I first saw it, I will have. It's kind of nostalgia for me because that was the first Godzilla movie I ever saw in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a soft spot for it, but overall, I actually did like it back then. But after rewatching it a couple times, it just got boring.
Right. Yeah.
The first act's good. The second act is boring as hell. The third act is in the middle.
Right. It's
But
just,
overall,
I think it's all the
boring.
cutaways. It's all the you just let the
Yeah.
action go and flow, and then without having to cut to different things. But
And when
yes,
they do show
yeah.
the monsters, it's a little bit too late.
Right. Yeah. But Sean, so you were talking. So like with starting from 2014, how do you think this whole modern era has gone since then?
Personally, I think it's been going good, but from what I've seen, like a lot of the fan base is starting to turn into like kind of like the Star Wars fan base in terms of like there's
I don't
no
go that
there's like no magic to it anymore, or it's like oversaturated.
I have a point on that. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but for me, I like it. I mean, of course, all the Godzilla fans. I mean, yeah, but it's starting to get a lot of my friends that didn't know anything about Godzilla into Godzilla, so it's a
Which
good
is great.
segue into it.
Yeah.
So, and all the people that are growing up with it as well, and I just like the fact that the mainstream. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse when it comes to like the mainstream getting into it because then you got a lot of people that don't know anything about it saying they
Mhm.
do, but like
IGN.
yeah. But like you got like Call of Duty had Godzilla versus
yeah.
Kong.
Yeah, not only lasted for a month and it was complete garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had
It
that.
wasn't good.
You also have like now they have like Fall Guys.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
skins in there,
I'm
so
just
it's like
waiting for Fortnite. I'm waiting for them to do a crossover with Fortnite.
Yeah, give
Oh
them
my
time.
god. Oh wait.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want it to happen. I want it to happen.
Yeah,
It's gotta happen. Yeah.
I secretly don't want that to happen just because it's
Yeah.
Fortnite. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't want them to get their hands on Godzilla, but I know it's gonna happen. It's Fortnite money. They have it. Of course they're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's a skin or they actually put them in the game, like in Call of Duty.
yeah.
That would be cool. Don't lie. That would be cool if they have a Godzilla in the game. Not as a skin, but in the game. You just have to run from him as soon as he comes up.
Well, I just wanted him to. I tried that Call of Duty event for like an hour, and I was so bored by it. I'm like, wait a minute. They have these two giant titans running around the map, but Kong, what I found so hilarious was Kong, all he does is just jump from like points on the map, but he doesn't actually like walk around. He just jumps, stands there, looks around, he grabs a boulder and throws it at a random area, and that's all he does for the whole map. And then
Well, same thing with,
Godzilla,
like,
yeah. And then Godzilla, he's in the ocean the whole time going back and forth,
Mhm.
just using his atomic breath. I thought what was going to happen, and if I was in charge of this, like it's Activision, you have the money, you can do it, is you'd actually have the monsters start the round, and then they would be like, Godzilla would be in the ocean, you have Kong over here, and then they would start to like converge and then look at each other and then start to fight each other. While they're fighting, you're over here trying to do your objectives, but you're still having to like watch out from getting stepped on. So like it just seemed like a huge missed opportunity. I was like, yeah, I get it. That
Yeah.
it's just another promotion to sell skins. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Which I have done.
yeah. Well, I mean the skins look cool, don't get me wrong, but it's just like I just wish there was more substance to it, it's just kind of a
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
yeah.
I just got bored of it, and
right.
I'm not really into modern Call of Duty anymore.
Yeah, I mean I don't really blame Call of Duty for doing that. I mean they've done everything to be money milkers as they can, but yeah. But so Sean, when it comes to like so you said like your friends getting into Godzilla from the Monsterverse stuff, but in terms of like the Japanese side of things with Toho, like what do you think the modern era with Godzilla has been for that? Because Toho's done a lot as well since 2014.
Yeah, for me, from what I've seen with the Japanese side of things, it's like they're mainly doing their push onto the anime side of things, which I don't mind, but I want more of the like live action movie stuff, and I think
They're making a live action kaiju movie. I think it's gonna be Godzilla. It's obvious it's Godzilla because there's no way it's gonna make money if it's another monster. I know people want that, but I think you guys heard of it, right?
Gargantuas, please.
War of the that would be really cool. War of the Gargantuas, like new version of that would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the new project that's coming from Toho or no?
I'm actually not aware of anything with that. I just the last thing I knew was the Godzilla world. This supposed new universe they want to make.
Apparently there's a Godzilla movie, not Godzilla, a kaiju or Godzilla movie coming out that predates 1954. It takes place in World War II or something. It's not really said what it's about. It's not. That's about it.
Interesting. So it's like a prequel to
movie.
Godzilla.
Yeah, whether it's a kaiju movie or a Godzilla movie, I'm leaning towards a Godzilla movie because I think Toho wouldn't just make it. They wouldn't make another new monster. I think the last time they make a new monster was Servum. No, wait, Salonga. But he was basically
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Toho making a new monster, they'd have to push that marketing to get over Godzilla's popularity. I don't know how Toho would be able to do that. Yeah,
they won't do that. They won't do that. They'll probably just make a new Godzilla. This new project will probably just be a Godzilla movie.
But I'm kind of with Sean though. If they made a new War of the Gargantuas, like a sequel or something, or a remake or whatever, with the technology they like, could you imagine War of the Gargantuas with the technology that Shin Godzilla was made on? I mean, like that would be amazing. I think I think that'd be cool.
The Toho era, did I? I only brought up the Monsterverse, right?
We were talking to like we discussed a little bit about Monsterverse stuff, and then we're now talking about like how Toho has been in terms of the modern era. And Sean, you were saying about the anime part of it, so like that, so less of the cinematic cinema style and more of the TV show aspect that Godzilla has been going into. So like what were your thoughts on like Singular Point and even the Anime Trilogy?
Well, for the Anime Trilogy, I think that was just a drop of the ball or something.
Yeah,
because like
they
the
dropped
first
the ball.
movie, in my opinion, it was pretty good. I thought it was a good start, and then the second one, it was bad. Yeah, it was. They just made Mechagodzilla into a city, and then the third one I thought was okay, but
they showed us pictures of what Mechagodzilla would look like in the movie, and they even showed it on the poster, and they even showed. Remember that image back?
I remember it.
Yeah,
of Mechagodzilla. They even show us Mechagodzilla, but they don't put him in the movie. You know?
Yeah, because he was cut. He was cut, actually. Yeah.
No, the reason why is because he said it was too hard to animate, and it was like, what? How is Mechagodzilla too hard to animate?
Well, whoever designed the look is it's not a good artist because it wasn't a good design. It's just like I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful to the artist of that Mechagodzilla version, but I'm just like, it just doesn't look good, man. It's not.
Yeah, I will agree. It does not look good. It's
I mean,
probably
yeah.
the worst Mechagodzilla out of the sets.
I mean,
think.
when
Yeah,
you
out of
make
the sets.
when you make the Godzilla versus
That's
Kong
probably
Mechagodzilla
right.
look better than that, that's pretty bad because that one's also kind of. But that's.
Yeah, like design wise, Godzilla versus the Mechagodzilla from Godzilla vs Kong is bad, but in overall personality and what he does in the movie, it's pretty good.
Well, yeah,
He's like
yeah. I mean, that's
he wipes the floor with Godzilla, and Kong barely does anything. Godzilla literally has to charge up the ATs in order
Yeah.
to bring down Mechagodzilla. If
right.
Godzilla was like knocked out and didn't charge up the ATs, and Kong would have died right there.
Mhm.
He would have died. And if even though Madison Team Godzilla did make Godzilla son-in-law, I think Mechagodzilla would have killed Kong anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sean, with because with the anime stuff, so you're saying that the first one you were like warm with, like a little okay with, and then the second one you say you didn't like, and then what about the third one? Did you think the finale was good?
I thought it was rushed, but I think
Mm.
overall it was better than the second and first one, I think.
Yeah.
But I rewatched the first one a lot more just because I think that one's more rewatchable.
Because you don't know what's coming next. That's why it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nico, what are your thoughts with modern Godzilla? Oh, he's ready. He's been brewing.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Aside from
Here we
aside from like Kong Skull Island, which is very good. I think it's the best. movie
Best
ever.
out of the Monsterverse in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Kong Skull Island.
Nah, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm sorry.
I do not like the Monsterverse. I do not like it.
Ah.
I do not like it, man. I don't. It's not. It's a mix of, it has one really good movie, then one okay movie, then the other two are just like, I'm not into it. Like, I'm not into it.
Which one's the okay movie?
Godzilla
Godzilla
2014.
That's what I knew. It was good. Yeah.
Godzilla
Yeah.
2014. Godzilla 2014 is the okay movie. The other two. Okay, first of all, I have a very big problem of like having Godzilla versus Kong so early. So early. At least give Godzilla and Kong one more movie before you bring them together. To me, Godzilla vs. Kong should have been the final movie, if anything, of the Godzilla Monsterverse. I think they just completely, excuse my language for anyone out there, they completely fucked that up. Completely fucked that up. Like, Godzilla King of the Monsters. And I'm like, okay, I didn't like the movie all that much. I didn't like it. I think it's a bit. I think it's a bit overhyped. The human characters are just god unbearable. I like the monster fights. When a lot's shit's going on, I like it. But the human characters are just unbearable. And it gets no better. It gets no better in Godzilla versus Kong. Gets no better. Except for Bernie. Bernie carries the whole film on his back. He carries the whole film on his back. You cannot tell me anything else. Bernie carries the whole movie on this entire franchise on his back.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Isn't Jaya good? Don't you like Jaya?
Who?
Gia?
Jaya, the blind girl. Not Jaya. Gia.
Oh, the little girl?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't.
No. Didn't work any movie magic against me.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about Monsterverse stuff, but I'll wait till Nico's done.
I did not like it. I think Godzilla vs. Kong making it the way they did very much fucked everything up. You couldn't have waited for that. You couldn't have waited. Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's a. Whoa, let me finish. Let me finish now. Let me finish. Listen, you had your scream time, Mac. Now, I know how much very much passionate you are about the Monsterverse. Let me get it in. Let me get it in. All right, so Monsterverse again. I just think it was a huge missed opportunity to bring in more monsters. At least you could have did one more film for both of the individual monsters. So like one more Godzilla film, one more Kong film. Could have made Kong a whole new Titan, or fight one of the Titans that appeared in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I thought that.
Don't even get me started with them, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like that's gonna lead into like how much you hate them, but okay, we're gonna continue here. You know, even like you could have brought back Mechagodzilla and have it one-on-one with Godzilla and have like a red spiral beam moment or something. Wow, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Instead, it's just a waste on Godzilla versus Kong. Why? Why would you waste that on that fucking movie? I don't know. Now Monsterverse has no fucking future. They don't know what the fuck is gonna happen. You know, they're making a Kong Apple TV show. What the fuck is there's no more Skull Island. It's fucking done. It's done. It's dead. It's dead. Where the fuck's he gonna live now? New York? He's gonna have just bring him giant fucking bananas for him to eat? No, they're not. What the fuck are you gonna do now? Godzilla, he's just what's he gonna do? Swim around Atlantis? Bump into like a little Ibra? What the fuck is he gonna do now? Nothing. He's not gonna do shit. There's no stop, please stop.
Have you read the prequel comic book tie-in? Have you done that? Have you looked at the art books?
No, see, I live in a world where I hate having to do homework to understand a main installment. I hate having to do that.
You need to do that. You do not need like that is so. I understand. It's like when the gap between Halo 4 and Halo Guardians. I know there's a shit ton of homework.
Don't even get me.
Seriously, there's so much fucking homework you have to do to connect those two games together, and it's so bad. It is so baffling bad. That is what the Monsterverse has turned into. You have to do so much fucking homework for so much stupid shit. I can't stand it. So now on to the Japanese part of things, I think what they're doing is great. I thought the I think the Anime Trilogy was, I don't know. I didn't see any of the Anime Trilogy. I know people.
I know you still have yet to see it.
Oh my god!
I still have yet to see. I know people are going to get on to me about it. That's going to be another promise I have to make.
Another watch party. There we go.
Yep, I promised I'm going to watch the trilogy very soon. I promise you guys. It's been very, very busy. Shin Godzilla. That is a great reintroduction to the Godzilla franchise. I think if more people saw it, I think if it was released, and more marketed towards American audiences and such, I thought that would be the movie that maybe brings people to like, oh, what is Godzilla? This guy's pretty interesting. He has all these powers and shit. Like, who's gonna be able to stop him, or what's gonna be able to stop him? I think that's a great introduction. The anime series now, Singular Point, on the other hand, I thought it was okay. When I first watched it, I was like it's another interesting concept on Godzilla, an interesting take, whatever. I thought making Jet Jaguar a sentient being and talking and stuff, I thought that was cool. I had to rewatch it to firmly say I thought it was okay, because the English dub, although I didn't mind it, the voices on the English dub, it's just hearing the characters speak 1 million miles per hour was extremely confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least in the sub, I can read it and be like, oh, so that's what they were talking about. Okay. And again, it's just a really interesting take on Godzilla. And I showed my friend about it. He's like, who loves anime. He's like, okay, I'm able to understand some of it, which is good. And he said it's not terrible, but it's also not great for someone who's a seasoned anime vet. I'll say that. So when I hear that, I'm like, okay, they're going somewhere with it. Dipping their toe into the water for future seasons and such. I'm okay with that, and I'm interested. I can say I'm interested to see what a season 2 will look like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, I don't think they have announced of this. The closest thing we got for announcement of season 2 is Dub Actor is apparently doing lines for season 2 of Godzilla Single Point. That's the closest thing we got.
Yeah, but that cliffhanger ending though, I mean, that was, I don't think they would do that if they didn't plan on having a sequel, or a season 2. But but Sean, you've been kind of quiet over there. But before I get into what I think about the Monsterverse, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Monsterverse, overall. What do you think about that?
So it's okay. I mean, for what they're trying to do, because I think, let's face it, I mean, Godzilla is just not that, in the grand scheme of the dumb audience members type of thing. I don't think a lot of people are gonna sit down and watch a Shin Godzilla, or something like that. So they kind of a lot of people are getting sick and tired of the Marvel stuff, but that's what they're trying to do because that's the
Mhm.
only way they can get people in. And the reason why I think they did Godzilla versus Kong early is because if you did another movie, they're just declining tickets. Because I mean, I don't really blame King of the Monsters for the declining, like the having next to no ticket sales, but I think it's just because it came out at the wrong time, maybe because it came
I
out
don't
like
know.
right next to
But
Endgame. So
Right. I mean, that's
it
the
was
problem
made.
is that they're trying to compete with Marvel, and I just think. Well, I'm sorry, that's gonna get me on my tangent, but continue, Sean. What I thought you were saying?
oh, well, I mean, I think it's got an okay future. I mean, yeah, they kind of wasted Mechagodzilla, even though I think hot take. I think the Mechagodzilla design is kind of better than QU. I didn't really like QU that much.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
No,
I know,
no,
oh,
I know.
no,
oh,
no.
Especially the original. I
oh,
didn't like the original either.
oh,
So
No,
what
no,
I'm hearing is
oh,
no.
you like the Mechagodzilla 2 design, is what I'm
oh,
Yes,
hearing.
yes.
Yes!
oh,
Yes!
No,
Yes!
Mechagodzilla
oh,
2 is
Yes! Yes!
oh, Q
Yes!
is the
Yes!
best
oh.
Yes!
Mechagodzilla.
Finally,
Okay.
whoa,
No,
God.
All right, no more behind the scenes emails for you, Sean. That's
Yeah.
oh, I'm just kidding. No, wow, okay, well, that is
Yeah,
a hot take. That is definitely
yeah.
a hot take.
That is what I said. Yeah.
Okay then. Wow, wow. So okay, so with um, yeah, so with the MonsterVerse, I it's weird for me because 2014 was like such an interesting time because obviously during the ramp up to that I was doing Goji fan, so I was like
Oh yeah.
super into it and just like every little bit of information and all that stuff. And I remember vividly that going to the theater watching it, and I remember liking it at like loving it at first, and then liking it as time went on, and now I'm just kind of like okay with it. But then the King of like the rest of the films came out. King of the Monsters came out with Godzilla versus Kong, and then it started to shift for me because I thought, okay, this is like 2014 set a tone. Like I like how Gareth Edwards said it. Like I think Gareth Edwards was a perfect director for it, and as it just seems like everything that King of the Monsters was doing was kind of like a Star Wars sequel trilogy kind of issue where they took all the feedback that all the complaints about the first one, and they went the complete opposite with the next one. So like 2014 had, oh, we need more monster action. Oh, it needs to be more colorful. Oh, you want more monsters? You want more color? Okay, here you go. Each monster has its own color, and like here's all these monsters now. We got all these guys. They're all just gonna fight, and like we're not really gonna focus on humans as much. So the humans are kind of like put to the sideline, and then there's that, and it was fine, but it was so mindless and just there was no substance to it, unlike what 2014 was trying to do, where it was at least trying to have some kind of there were no okay, well, that's a lie. I was gonna say there were no subtle moments in King of the Monsters, but actually the one moment that I actually do really like was with Serizawa getting the nuke to Godzilla and blowing and sacrificing himself and then having Godzilla come back. That was cool. But then yeah, you got Godzilla versus Kong, and I don't know if it's an issue because of COVID. I don't know if it affected the production of it because I know that it affected many movies at the time. But
yeah, it was originally supposed to be
yeah,
released in
yeah.
2020,
I mean,
right?
because it got delayed and
Like
all
due to
that stuff
COVID.
so many times,
It
and
got delayed like 4 times, right?
oh
It was
yeah,
originally supposed to be released
Yeah.
20,
actually not even in 2020. It was supposed to be released in like I think
2019
Godzilla
or
vs.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think like Godzilla King of the Monsters was supposed to
yeah,
release in 2018, then got pushed back a year, and then
yeah.
Godzilla
So
vs. Kong was supposed to release in 2019, then got pushed back 2 years.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
and I think with and I think you're right, Sean. When it came to Endgame, I mean, it's like you got stop
I
competing
really
with Marvel.
enjoyed.
I can't stand all these companies trying to do what Marvel's doing. And in my opinion, Marvel can only do what Marvel's doing. That is it. Period. I don't think they are so far ahead of any other studio with what they've been doing that like DC's been trying to catch up with them for the longest time. I remember whatever that series was, the Dark series that
Dark Universe.
yeah.
Right.
I mean that
And
one
then-
movie
and
and they
then-
were done already because they just messed it up completely. And then now I'm just like, when I heard that Godzilla was doing this whole, or like when Legendary and Warner Brothers was doing the whole Monsterverse idea or the whole universe, cinematic universe thing, I've always been against it 100%. I even though I know technically Toho did it back in the day, but I think it was different back then.
They did it first. So
Well, yeah,
technically
but at the same time, it was different though back then. Like each film was still its own solid film, and they really didn't know if they were going to make another one. Like they didn't have end credit sequences. They didn't have selling, like it wasn't like each movie was the next commercial for the next one, and like that's why each movie in the Showa era and Heisei and Millennium, I don't really consider Millennium because that was its anthology, whatever. But like those films, they had a beginning, middle, and end, and it was done. And then you had the next one that sort of followed up, but it wasn't necessary. But like, if you tried to watch the MCU and you tried to watch like, you know, Doctor Strange into the multiverse, you'd be so confused on what is going on, because you'd have to watch 5+ movies just to understand what's going on here.
And the TV show.
And the
Yeah,
TV show. Yeah, that's right. So it's like, you know, and Nico's right too. Like when it came to like, you have to do your homework in order to understand these movies. Like with Godzilla vs. Kong, I felt whiplash when that movie started, and I was like, wait a minute. First off, how did Kong get over there? I thought he was on Skull Island. What happened to? Wait, okay, so and you're telling me in the intro sequence that's when they showed all the other Titans getting killed off screen? Wait a minute. Why did we build? No, they did in the intro. They show Godzilla and Kong, and they start showing that they're crossing off the Titans.
Doesn't mean they're dead.
No,
They're
they
not
are.
dead.
They are dead. They showed them crossing them off. That's why it was just Godzilla and Kong in the end.
In the novel, they say that
Uh-uh.
Godzilla just.
Oh, no, we're not doing
No.
the novel shit. I'm not reading the fucking
See,
novel. This
that's-
isn't Harry Potter. This is fucking Godzilla. It's not supposed to be this fucking complicated.
That's what I mean.
Words.
So like,
what do they mean?
so that's what I mean. Like when it comes to these cinematic universe stuff, they start to pile on all this like exposition and all this background and all this stuff, and they don't actually make a film anymore. It's just commercials for the next film. That's all they're doing, is setting up all this stuff. And like, yeah, was it cool to see a Hollywood Mechagodzilla? Sure. But the way they did it, I agree completely with Nico. It was such a waste to have Mechagodzilla in this film. You could have waited. You already used King Ghidorah, by the way, which is like his most biggest villain, right? So you can't use him again. So what's the next guy? Mechagodzilla. Well, now you've already used him, and you didn't even have Godzilla fight him one-on-one. Kong killed Mechagodzilla, which is like the weirdest. It's like a fan
That is the
fiction.
most disrespectful fucking thing you could have
It's like
done to the Godzilla franchise.
That's like fan
So
fiction, really. That's something that Nico and I could have wrote for like Kenshin Anime Trilogy or something. Instead of, you know, but like it's just so. I feel that after seeing all of this and how Godzilla is in the modern times, I agree. Like Star Wars, it has lost its magic to me. I don't feel like it's so commercialized now. They're trying to do exactly like Marvel's doing, because to be honest, Marvel, I'm also fatigued. I saw the Doctor Strange movie. It was fine. Like it was like, okay, cool. Like, but I don't think I'll be seeing it again. But like the only recent Marvel movie that I was like truly like applauding in the theater was the Spider-Man one. But that one's tricky though. But that one's tricky though, because they use nostalgia for it as well. So it's not, if it was just Tom Holland, would it have been as great? Probably not. And that shows you how good those older ones were. So so Marvel too has just been kind of on this weird like downward slope. And I thought after Endgame, I'm like, there's no way they're going to top themselves after Endgame. After Endgame, it's downhill from here. I don't know, phase 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they should just stop. I mean, I think Endgame was the perfect finishing point for that. But got the Monsterverse, I don't even know how. The only way we will get a Endgame for the Monsterverse is if they remake Destroy All Monsters. That's the only way you're going to do an Endgame version of this. But I don't see how they're going to be able to build that up with monsters. Like it's
easy. It's the multiverse. Come on now.
no,
Doctor
don't.
Strange
Yeah,
is also
yeah. Don't get me started with that stuff. But and then we go over to the flip side of Toho, and I have been loving. And okay, and I know some people would say, "Oh, you're just a Toho fanboy," but it's true. Toho's actually trying to do new stuff with Godzilla. They're not just rehashing old stuff. Yeah, it's cool to see a Hollywood version of this character, but I don't really care. I want to see new stuff be done. Shin Godzilla blew my mind. It is that's the best out of the modern thing. And to be honest, since 2014, Shin Godzilla, best Godzilla thing so far out of this whole modern era of Godzilla. I guess you could call the Reiwa era is what they're tagging it as. But it's so that is top tier Toho right there, and that's what I remember. That's Godzilla, making an imprint on people and or impression and all that stuff. And the Anime Trilogy I look at as a flawed experiment. It was I feel like maybe the Anime Trilogy needed to happen so that we would get the actual anime series, because I think what happened was people saw that and they were like, well, that should have been an anime series instead of 3 movies. That should have been season 1 right there. But then we got Singular Point. Now, Singular Point, I'm mixed on. When I first saw it, I was confused. I really had no idea what was going on. I mean, I even made my video vlogs or whatever of each episode when I was watching them, and as you can as you watch the videos, I'm just kind of rambling because I really don't know what actually happened, and I literally recorded those as I just finished the episode. So I was so confused, and when I rewatched it, I was still kind of just as confused. I was like, I really don't know what entirely is going on in here, but it looks cool. So I like it. I think, but it just seems like Toho, they're taking more risks. They're just trying to do just different things, and they're taking their time with it too. I think that's nice as well. I mean, the biggest thing I would want though out of a modern Godzilla thing right now is I would love for, and if this is when Toho's doing their whole Godzilla World universe thing, which I'm not, once again, it's a universe thing, so I'm not too thrilled on that, but I just want to see a movie that's let's say Toho comes in, Hollywood comes in, they both do a collab on one Godzilla film, and they just put all their cards in that one film, just full blown, all power to that one film. Don't even think about sequels. Don't think about a universe. Just do this one and just see if you can make a huge impact with it. That's that. But I just think, to close my thoughts on the modern era, I just think it has lost its magic when it comes to the Monsterverse. I think that 2014, I think it should have stayed that tone. It should have had that realistic, subtle tone throughout the whole thing. I think King of the Monsters is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's mindless. It's so mindless and has no substance. That's all it is. And then I think Kong's even worse because it's just and no, well, see, that was the thing. It's not even a freaking Godzilla thing, and that was the best one out of the Monsterverse. Kong Skull Island, hands down, best, because it had great characters and great monster scenes. It had both, and it was colorful but dark at the same time. Had good metaphors and symbolism, but also took itself not too seriously. It had whoever what was his name? Alex Wingard, the director, right?
Vogue Roberts.
There we go. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up with the names here. Get him to do a Godzilla film. Seriously, get that same team who did Kong Skull Island do Godzilla. Seriously, because that was great. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little worried about the future of Monsterverse, because I just think when I heard that they were doing a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong already, I was like, why? That's
Apple
this
TV show and then Netflix.
Yeah, and I'm thinking an Apple TV show too. That gets me even more worried, because I just got off watching the Halo show on Paramount Plus, and that was garbage. And so now I'm looking at this going, oh, another TV show on an exclusive provider. Great. It's going to be cheap, and you're not going to see a lot of monsters.
HBO Max. That makes no sense when you put it on
even if
Apple
it was,
TV.
but here's the thing. Even if it was on HBO Max, I'm still not excited about it. I'm it's a TV show. Your budget's going to be so lowered. People and people are thinking, oh, it's gonna be like Monsters. It's gonna be like Ultraman. Each episode's gonna have new. No, it's not. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna focus fully on humans, for the majority of the time. The monsters are going to have like 5 seconds of screen time each episode. And there might be even a long stretch of episodes where we won't even see any monsters. It'll just be the Monarch people running around in computer screens going, oh, what's this? Oh, what do we do? Oh, what do we do? I guarantee that's going to be the whole show. It's just going to be the most boring. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what it's going to be like. I guarantee it. Mark my words. But yeah. So
What about the Netflix show and the new Godzilla vs Kong sequel?
yeah, no, I just they're milking it. They're doing the wrong steps. They're doing the wrong steps.
The reason why any of that exists is because Godzilla vs Kong did well. That's probably the only reason why it exists.
We're about to get a shit ton of prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all
where did King Ghidorah come from?
Oh God, yeah. No.
Subscribe to
so.
Paramount Plus to see where the Exilians come from. Where King Ghidorah came from?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It came from like a
It fucking
planet
sense.
full of Ghidorahs. That's where it came from, according to the novel.
Okay. No, we don't talk about the novel. It does not exist. It does not exist.
I bet you guys didn't know Godzilla killed this Titan. Well, what fucking Titan was he? He's not in the fucking movie, apparently.
Yeah, no, and that's another thing. Don't get me started on the Titans. It was a waste. I don't even know why they did that. It was a waste to give tension to King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
Why would you build up all these Titans all of a sudden at the end of King of the Monsters and then just kill them all off screen in the next one? Why?
Behemoth.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it happened in the novel. Come on, read the fucking
that's.
novel.
I'm sorry. That's right. The novel says this. Yes,
totally
that's,
read the novel.
Sorry, because
Read the fucking novel.
Because when Halo 5 was coming out, I was totally interested in reading 5 books, like 10 comic books, watching the podcast, watching this Nightfall series, which that was bad too. I'm just like, God. I hate modern entertainment, dude. I've been disappointed by so many things lately. It's just
it'd be one thing if the novel came out and they made the movie about the novel, so I don't have to read the novel to understand what the fuck
right.
is going on.
2014 had a novel, and but it didn't like have anything that you would like needed to know.
Yeah,
it just expanded on it. That's what it needs to. It is. People. It's called expanded material. That means you expand on what the installment was. You don't add to it. You expand on it. It's like a video game with an expansion pack. It doesn't change the core of the main installment. It extends it. It gives it more life. Not stuff you need to fucking know to understand the basic storyline. Oh my God, I hate it when studios need to stop this. I'm so tired of having to do all this extra homework just to understand a movie. Okay. According to time-wise, where we're at, I think we've done pretty good talking about these topics. I think the comment section is just going to have a ball with all of this stuff. But we're going to do a quick spitfire of just like final thoughts, I guess, on both topics that we discuss in this podcast. So we'll do quick things because I know we all love to talk and digress about it, but let's do a quick little snippet. So Akno, final thoughts on the 2 topics that we talked about today.
Best Final Godzilla movie, Godzilla Final Wars. Best, between the modern era, I think Shin Godzilla is probably the best out of all of it. And, yeah. It's probably, yeah.
All right, Sean.
Best finale, just Godzilla versus Destroyer. And for the future, I'm weary, but I'm still on board. So yeah.
Okay, Nico.
Watch Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Support Toho. Support the Japanese, what they're doing with Godzilla. Fuck the Monsterverse. I was bored. I was having trouble finding my purpose in life, and I found out my purpose in life is to just hate on the Monsterverse. No,
there you go.
No, I wasn't born to hate on them, but like the hate is increasingly growing. I've become a vessel for violence and hatred when it comes to the Monsterverse. It's slowly built up over the last 8 years, and it's almost at its peak form.
There you go. Well, I'd say Final Wars is best, and the Monsterverse, I am the same. I'm weary, but of course, I'm gonna watch it because I'm a freaking sucker for shit like this. So yeah, but okay, well that'll do it for today's podcast. I think, guys, I think these are pretty good topics as well. So yeah, this is just a big special podcast for the backers that we have that we were able to get. But once again, we just want to thank you two for the constant support with Kenshin Studios, the constant support on the Kickstarter. You guys, like I said, I mean, seriously, you guys pulled through like tremendously. Like the two of you in particular, like just like crazy. So yeah, so yeah, so we hope that you guys have enjoyed episode 5 and where we're going to take it, because we're going to make comic books and novels so you understand more about Kenshin Chaos further, because that's just how we're going to make it. So
actually, no. I'll tell you guys what we have planned. So what we have planned is what we didn't tell you is Kudajiro killed off the rest of the Godzilla franchise. Every single franchise is kaiju leading up to Godzilla vs. Ultraman. You guys don't know about it though,
because you didn't read the comics.
That's
on you
novels,
guys.
We have novels and TV shows and podcasts coming on how he did it, all on his own.
Yeah,
for just a slim price
of
$1 million a month.
See, you guys just didn't read the comics or the novels, so that's on you. That's not us being lazy writers. Okay, that's on you guys. Sorry, but that's. So all right, yeah, but that'll do it for this one, guys. Yeah, the comment section should be fun. Let's have a discussion further on these topics, and we'll go from there. And that'll do it for this podcast. We're gonna sign off. Everybody say bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.